Grace.
Hello, thanks.
It's so lovely to be with you. This is Grace Quantock, and she and I met, I want to say, almost 2 years ago now, when we were both developing our talks for public speaking together. And your light and positive energy and sweet support of everyone who was going through that journey together really claimed a place in my heart. So I've been so grateful to be on someone of a parallel journey with you as we continue to try to shine light in the space of healing and wellness. So it's a real honor for us to finally come together on a Shift Series interview today, and I'm so thankful that you joined us.
Thank you. It's a great honour to be here with you and to connect with a privilege to connect to your wonderful audience with you in this way. And obviously your work inspires me, and I'm honoured to be part of the same movement with a healer of your caliber.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're definitely soul sisters on this journey. Would you be open to telling our audience a little bit about you and how you came to be doing the work that you're doing?
Certainly. Yes, and what you said about the working on our messages and our talks together, it was actually in that program that I developed what I now use as the crux of everything I'm working with. So it's exciting to come back in that circle and bring that here today. For me, it started incredibly unexpectedly. This was never on like I planned. And that is quite a theme in what we're working with, because when I was in my teens, I was very much on the kind of type A, overachieving track, and I was going there, and I was doing it, and I was doing it fantastically. And of course there's other stuff going on underneath the surface, stuff that even I wasn't aware of. And I got very ill when I was 18. And I did not know how to handle it, and didn't know where to go, and started searching for anything that could help. And you know when you're kind of on the 18th page of Google and it's kind of 3 a.m. and you're thinking, there's bound to be something, there's got to be something, because there has to be something. And really searching for a cure. And I did that, and I couldn't find one. And so I tried, I thought, this is kind of my teens, early 20s, and I thought, well, I can't find a cure, and I have an invisible disability. I kind of looked back sick, and I thought, maybe I'm sick. Maybe the doctors are wrong. Maybe because this cannot happen. So we were just in denial, and that's where I was. And so I tried living without the illness. I tried to just not do it, and obviously that lasted a few days. That just did not work. And so then I looked to a lot of support groups, and I found, and there's some wonderful people out there. But I found that a lot of people were very engaged in a lifestyle of illness. And there was a lot of talk around symptoms, and it's very challenging. I looked at what other people were doing, and then doing activities that I had never enjoyed. At this point I was mostly housebound, and I thought, well, maybe that's kind of what I have to do now. Maybe I have to kind of put, a check blanket over my knees and sit in my wheelchair, and maybe I have to just be good and quiet, because I can't do anything else. That didn't work, because that wasn't me either.
Right.
And so eventually I decided, what if I live with the illness? What if I respect it as a partner going forward? I didn't invite it in, I didn't want it here, but it's here now. So how do I work with it? And in building that healing journey, I then got to a point where the doctor, I had a scan, a DEXA scan, and the doctors thought that I had very, very extensive sarcoma, which we've done this type of bone cancer. And so at that time I was 22. And I thought, oh my goodness. And I thought, if I don't have to go into chemotherapy, go into really all of that, I need to stop being scared and start living all my dreams. And so we were in hydrotherapy one day, and I made a list on my big old clunky brick mobile phone, because this was pre-iPhones, people. On it had, I wanted to write and share my healing journey, about moving from being like a sick to being like a trailblazer. I wanted to build these healing boxes, these gifts we make for people, and actually give them to the world. And I wanted to wear more earrings. So it's funny what you think about when it looks like you might die. And I did this, and there were a few more things on there. They're all happening, and that was what catapulted me into getting a website and finding my message and realizing that the core message that I found was that the disabilities are the footnotes, but we are the adventure stories. So it all just I have some amazing advocates, some amazing people, and it's just grown from there. It's been such an honor and such a process.
It's been so beautiful to watch as well, because you always lead, whether it's in your talks that I've seen online that I really recommend people look at, your email communications. You lead from the heart. You lead with such love and unconditional love and compassion, and you also lead from experience, that you have been there and you can relate, and that is such a relief when you're feeling that isolation and loneliness of navigating a health journey. You touched on a piece that I'd love to ask you about, how you work with your private coaching clients, which is there's this thing that happens, especially around the time of diagnosis, where we dance back and forth between almost feeling like others don't believe we're sick, and then we ourselves don't believe we're sick. Like there's this denial dance that goes on, where part of us can be hurt that it's not, that we're not being held and seen and cared for in how we're feeling, which is ill, and nobody wants to feel ill. And then there's that other part, like you said, that's like, maybe it's not even true. Maybe if I just ignore it away, or I have a mindset shift, or I get lots of sleep, there'll be a miracle. And so many miracles do come in the surrender, but it isn't always the miracle we think, where the symptoms lift. All kinds of other miracles. How do you help people navigate that vacillation between denial and grief, as we find our way to those miracles?
Fantastic question. It is such a challenging place.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in it myself, I was at university, and I was living in Hampshire, and the university was in Berkshire. This is in England, and so I had to travel across the counties to get to university. So it was a walk to a bus stop, then a bus, then a train ride, then another bus to get to university every day. So it was a lot. And there were some days when I'd be exhausted and I was walking, but I would I must have walked like I was drunk. So I was weaving everywhere and stumbling and stuff. I'd sit down and have a rest on the pavement. And some days people would go past me and they'd say, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" And I was thinking, yes, I am okay. Yes, I am walking, and it may look different to the way you are walking, but I am walking, it is my way, and I am doing it, and I would rather you didn't comment on it, thank you very much. And then the next day I would think, can't you see me stumbling?
Right.
Can't you see me falling down? Do you not think it would be nice to possibly give me a hand and stop me crashing, face palming the ground?
Yes.
But of course at the time I didn't have anybody. I didn't have a coach, I didn't have anybody to talk. I was doing it completely alone. And nowadays I think when people have walked before us, we can go in their footsteps, we can use that wisdom. And so when I'm working with clients around this, I really find that having somebody who's walked that path, if not the exact path to you, the similar signposts, the similar things, somebody having walked that before is massively supportive, healing, and deeply transformative. Just acknowledging this actually happens. Because sometimes people think I'm going mad. Because why am I having these mood swings? And so just hearing that is something that happens. Then of course we have, the therapeutic techniques that I work with in sessions, be it counselling skills techniques, coaching techniques, use of working with art, working with expression, working with journaling.
Yeah.
So much stuff that we're tapping into. So yeah, we also do something I run in the Phoenix Fire Academy, which is a coaching program that we run, which is by my website at phoenixfireacademy.com. Is we work with the emotional flames. So we say that they're fire, and we have different flames for different parts, and we teach you how different techniques tend to be good for each one. We do have about acceptance and denial. We talk about acceptance being a process. It's never something that we arrive at. It's something that we're living with and working with each day. And there's another flame that people often don't talk about, because a lot of the stuff comes from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's grief method, but this flame is one which we call the return, and that's when people just want to get back. And this, I can just be like I was 6 months ago. If I can just find back the top 6 months, and there's that desperation being there. There is the acknowledgement that, as Dr. Christina Rasmussen, a dear friend of mine, said, that you've been through something unimaginable, and so you come out extraordinary through that. That shapes you in extraordinary ways. And so instead of trying to get back, we learn how to build something even more beautiful from what's come up.
It's so huge and so nurturing and so loving, and I can also speak to the power and the effectiveness of all of what you're describing. You know, when we set out to create our big symptom tracker, we were trying to do exactly what you're describing, which is help people. They think they want to track their symptoms. They think they want to know exactly what's happening when, and then they can communicate what's going on. But what we're trying to do is get them in a place where they begin to see themselves in a new way, and then help shift from focusing on the symptom to actually focusing on the other things you're describing, like where are your sources of joy? How can you bring in more creativity? How could a gratitude practice or a transformative practice like you're describing help you shift out of feeling like you're being run by the illness, and instead where it is an aiding factor to you finding your true purpose and path on the planet. And it's incredibly powerful when we start to bring in those shifts, you know, to use your words, to kind of move out of that lifestyle of illness and into the space of living in partnership with it. I know that in addition to your coaching, and you mentioned this, that you have created a support system around healing boxes for people. Will you tell us a little bit about that and how it works?
Yes, thank you. This is incredibly dear to my heart, the healing boxes. I do actually have one here if you'd like to see.
Would love to.
This is one of my large ones, so I hope it fits on the screen. We're going to have to look. Okay. So this is actually a healing box, and they're tailored gifts to warm the heart. So what happened was I was 21 and living in Berkshire, and I was bedbound. A friend of mine was in a very, very difficult car accident. And in that moment, I not only feeling sad and grief and scared for her and sorry for her pain, but also I felt so impotent because there was nothing I could do. She was, your loved one is hurting, and what can you do? And it's so hard to be in that position and to be the caregiver and to be watching somebody you love struggling. And so I looked online to try and find gift boxes to send to her, so I could send her something because I couldn't visit. And I couldn't find anything that seemed to be made by anybody who'd actually set foot in the hospital.
Right.
I mean, there was one thing, and it was called the honey box. And I'm vegan, so that wasn't really going to happen anyway. But also, it contained 5 jars of honey. And I was thinking, okay, well, even if we just leave aside the whole sugar healing thing, what are you going to do with 5 jars of honey in a hospital? I mean, where was it? It just, the mind, just like, I couldn't see it. So I thought, well, if there's one thing I do know, it's about being in bed, it's about being in pain, it's about being ill, and how to manage that over long periods of time. You know, I have that kind of illness since I was 13. It's only that we only discovered it when I was 18. It was, you know, below the surface, and it affected me all that time. And so I put together a box of all the things you need when you're ill or in hospital, but that you don't know you need until you're in the situation. So things like often hospitals are dry, and so you have lip balm. Or if you're in bed, your circulation can become a little more sluggish, your feet can get cold. So we put in these special bamboo socks which keep your feet warm when they're cold and cool when they're warm. And they're everything in the boxes is ecologically produced, so ethically made, and we make them up and we ship them out worldwide. We have free shipping in Britain and standard shipping all across the world. They've gone everywhere, and we fill them all with goodness, and yeah, it began with my friend. And I also volunteered for years supporting children with cancer via letters and via post, so we kind of honed a lot of those skills there. And yeah,
I just love this so much, both on the giving side and the receiving side. I know on the receiving side, I would have loved to be the recipient of something beautiful and filled with love like that. And I know on the giving side, there's two things. You know, one, I remember when I was at my hardest point as well, and I would hear about something going on with someone else, and I knew what they were going through. And in my mind, in my grandmother's day, what I think of, what you do then is you bring them food, you go to them, and you help them. But I couldn't do that. I didn't have enough to get through myself, let alone to give. And so the ability to send a box seems amazing. But even now, I recognize that beyond those of us who can't get somewhere, society is busy and we don't know how to support our friends and loved ones who are finding themselves on a healing journey. And so I love the idea that this could spread like wildfire, so that it's everyone's first thought when a loved one is in bed or in hospital, that they would receive a healing box. I'm so inspired by the work you're doing. I know we'll talk more on offline, but I would love to figure out how Chronic Wellness Tools can support healing boxes in a bigger way, and how we can really help to raise awareness of the healing boxes and in your work in general. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited about it, and it's just, you're totally right. I just want to say a little bit on the receiving end. I don't know if this happened to you. I got a lot of gifts, which is lovely. I got a lot of gifts I couldn't use.
Yeah.
A lot of gifts of things that I was allergic to, or things which are like too many pairs of slippers, and like, what's another way to say, you're sick now?
Yeah.
You can't rock climb anymore. We're going to buy you slippers and dressing gowns.
Yeah.
And it's hard being on the one. You don't know how to navigate a healing journey. You don't know, what do you give somebody in chemotherapy? What should you give them? What shouldn't you give them? What if they have an immune suppressant and you have to be very careful and sterilize what you send in? It can be terrifying to give something that hurts, and it can be horrible to receive things that you can't have. So we thought, well, gosh, everybody in healing boxes is living with an illness. We all have decades of experience of illness. We thought, let's come together and make it easy. And also, for every box we sell, a little bit of money goes, and we donate boxes to our local cancer hospice.
Oh, it's just such a wonderful thing you're doing. Well, thank you for sharing your message and your light and your incredible program and coaching and also product with our audience. I want to conclude from a place of lots of people who find their way to the Shift series, they may be feeling really stuck and they don't know what to do next. Either they're at a newly diagnosed place and not sure where to go, or they're feeling like they're not getting better. Is there any hope? They're losing hope. And I'm wondering what you would say to that person if there were just one thing that they could do to help to start to reclaim that feeling of being in partnership with their journey instead of being a victim to it. What would that one thing be?
I really like the Rumi poem about seeing every visitor as though you yourself were a guest house. And I don't know if you know that one. And everything, so you're seeing that it's a very mindful way of viewing. And so you see that you're here, and sometimes anger might come. Okay, anger's coming. You notice this, acknowledge it. You say, come here, anger. I don't really want you to come. Like, I could really do what you here today, but you're here. Okay. And noticing that it will then pass. And it's sometimes, when we're resisting our emotions, they seem harder. This is kind of the trick, which is when I had post-traumatic stress disorder after a serious car accident at one point. I saw the anxiety and the pain that I had from that as very solid. They felt like they couldn't shift. And when I started moving towards them to meet them and greet them, they seemed to open up a little bit. And then I could find spaces within them where I could breathe, work, and start to have thoughts and start to move forward and start to actually work on the business or, make a cup of tea or get out of bed. And it was in the resistance that they seemed impenetrable. So it's in the welcoming and noticing and acknowledging that it's here that actually creates that complete, almost counterintuitive shift and transformation.
So beautiful. Grace, thank you so much for opening up your day to be with us here today, and thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the world.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for your shining hearts and being yourselves. I'm so grateful to be on the planet.
I'm so grateful as well. Where is the best place? We'll include all your links below, but where is the best place for people to find you online?
I would say that it would be my website, which is gracequantock.com. That's GraceQuantock.com. And the boxes are at healing-boxes.com.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I encourage everyone to go seek you out, get on your list, be close to the work that you're doing. It's inspirational and it's so needed in this world. And I just thank you again for joining us today. I really, really enjoyed our time together. Much love.